Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Breakfast of Champions. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels, and we're going back to that horrible world known as the JRC, but before we do, the usual disclaimers. In the description box, you are going to see the link to the article that the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center doesn't want you to read. It is written by NeuroClastic, a small non-for-profit started by autistics for autistics, wherein they interviewed and surveyed over 900 ABA professionals in regards to the JRC's quote-unquote behavioral modification program. Matter of fact, the JRC doesn't want you to read this article so much they have threatened NeuroClastic with a defamation lawsuit if they do not remove it from the website. NeuroClastic has refused, so you know the drill, folks. Please read and share on all your social media. We also have linked NeuroClastic's public statements in regards to the defamation lawsuit threat, as well as a link to their GoFundMe. We are crowdfunding just in case the JRC actually sees through with their threat. We also got the links in regards to the Agape boarding school situation. Agape boarding school is a Christian-themed boarding school based out of Stockton, Missouri that takes in so-called troubled male teens that has and pending over 21 lawsuits as to this current date that are alleging sexual abuse, child abuse, minor exploitation, starvation, amongst many others. Please click on those links and share on all your social media. We have had, at this point, one staff member arrested by the FBI, another a doctor that is up on multiple charges of sodomy and sexual abuse against children. And as of last night, as of yesterday, folks, once again, the decision to close off Agape boarding school and shut it down has been postponed another week. God, I can smell the corruption from here, and the courthouse is downtown. So yeah, please go to the change.org petition that is linked there in the description box. Shut Agape boarding school down petition and share it on all your social media, alright? We also got the other pertinent links to the Stop the Shocks campaign, including Autistic Hoya's massive archive on the subject, the templates, and the ever-present self-explanatory change.org Shut the Judge Rotenberg Center Down petition. When we discuss the JRC, folks, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of people with disabilities being tortured and abused. If you do have young children present, please use your headphones. Also, this channel is marked not for kids for a reason. We use profanity and we talk about dark subjects. If your kid is under the age of 18 and watching these videos, please, parental advisory, alright? It is 4:28 a.m. in the morning. I am exhausted, folks, so if I stumble over my words this morning, apologies in advance. We are going back to morning videos because now it's fall. Now, if you remember from yesterday, we're going over some of the ops, as JRC calls them, that they use at their school. We basically tore apart their first two, so now let's see what else we've got this morning. Okay. Treatment programmed opportunities are designed to deal with certain important problematic behaviors. Again, all this focus on the behaviors, nothing else. They want us to behave appropriately according to their model of normal, which doesn't exist anywhere outside in the real world. Yeah. Consider, for example, the case of a student where whenever he or she is disappointed or frustrated, tends to show aggression against the person who has caused the frustration or display some other inappropriate behavior. Oh, for God's sake. That's just being human, JRC. And if you don't think neurotypicals do that, I got news for you. Showing frustration against someone we are disappointed in or is showing aggression towards us is a natural human response. You are literally trying to program the humanity out of us. You claim that we're subhuman, and then you try to program whatever humanity you think is still left in us. Again, you are putting burdens on us that you do not put on the neurotypical teenager. You literally are forcing us to act in a manner that once again makes us stand out, not help us blend in. These are not the ways how a normal neurotypical acts, JRC. It is human to get angry. It is human to even yell or vocalize one's displeasure when they're being used or stabbed in the back. Moving on. The treatment program to opt for this type of problem might involve training the student in how to handle frustration and disappointment without aggressing. Remember, this is the behavioral rehearsal lessons that they're talking about, folks. That bizarre type of opt that they have created where they basically traumatize the student and you get shocked if you do and shocked if you don't. Non-compliance. And remember how they told you that they handle disappointment. Or they will literally do things that are not fair towards the student, that they don't do to the other students, to help you handle disappointment later on. Life is disappointing enough without having my school reinforce it, okay? Us autistics are more than aware of the fact that life isn't fair. After all, we are forced to be pigeonholed into these rules that you dictate are appropriate for us in order to get along in a world that is not built for us. We got the memo. We got the memo when we started school, all right? We don't need you to assist us with acting appropriately to disappointment, okay? Supplying appropriate levels of prompting on each trial to make correct responding likely, progressive fading of prompts on later trials, rewarding or punishing the student despite on what response he shows to the stimulus situation on each trial. Again, this is the bizarre behavioral rehearsal lessons, and let me remind you of how those go. Appropriate response, because you're not acting to the prompting to the triggering of the behavior, shocked for noncompliance. If you act in the manner that they are trying to force that behavior out of you and it comes out, punished and shocked. This is their idea of proper training into showing us the appropriate response. It doesn't. All it actually teaches us is to always be in fear all the time. We don't need help with that, JRC. My paranoia has been through the roof since I was a kid. I don't need help in that area. Thank you. Your bizarre ideas of how to get appropriate responses and behaviors is insane. And it's all based on this model of normal that doesn't exist anywhere in the real world. You won't allow us a human response. You are laying burdens on us that you do not lay on neurotypical students. And then you sit there and you tell us that it's for our good. It's not. It's psychologically damaging. Very much so. You are grooming us for further abuse once we leave your school. I'm going to say that for the morons in the back. You are literally grooming us for future abuse and the acceptance of that abuse later on in life, okay? This is not how we teach appropriate responses or how to deal with disappointment. First off, you have to let the person, especially us autistics, know that it is okay to be angry. It is okay to be frustrated. It is okay to be sad in a situation that is not fair. It is okay even to vocalize when a situation is not fair. We have a very keen sense of justice. That's a common thread to almost every single autistic I've ever met. Okay? The most healing thing you can do for us is allow us to have our humanity. Allow us to be human, to experience these emotions and not punish us for it. Okay? Let's start there. What you need to be doing is teaching us how to, in a more healthy manner, deal with these emotions. Okay? And how is that? Is that by faking a fake response to make you people more comfortable? No. It means addressing these issues, teaching us how to self-advocate and stand up for ourselves, but in a way that doesn't lead to violence or outbursts. That was what I was trained in, okay? That's how person-centered planning worked for me. I was taught that it is completely healthy for me to be able to feel and voice these emotions. What wasn't necessary was me responding with extreme violence or to fly into a strong case of self-loathing. But to address these issues, use my words to explain how this was making me feel, and if necessary, cut the person off that is causing the frustration and the anger and the hurt. JRC, we are human beings. You should be assisting us and helping us to appropriately deal with these emotions instead of shoving them in the closet. When I was younger, that's all I did. Shoved them in the closet. Want to know why we burn out at young ages? Because the world expects us to bury our emotions and our feelings at our treatment and never ever act on them. Well, if you do that over years, decades, guess what happens? Eventually the dam's gonna bust. And I'm gonna go ahead and, close out on that. We don't get very many views on this channel, especially on this subject. The few that we do tend to get removed from time to time. So please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit the comments. I do appreciate your time this morning, and as always, we here at Spilling Tea hope you have a good one. Bye-bye.